Podcast.
Are you gonna do the show or are you gonna let me do it?
Oh, I'm going to do the show. They want to hear me, not you.
Check it out. What's up, y'all, man? This is our very first episode, our very first podcast of Out the Chute with myself, Jeff McCool, a.k.a. the Brahma Bull, a.k.a. Moccasin Creek, a.k.a. Big Sexy the Giant Killer, a.k.a. the man with a lot of a.k.a.s, and my beautiful wife, Miss Daphne.
I'm just Daphne.
You got a lot of a.k.a.s. We just won't get into those yet. But, nah, for real, man, this is our first podcast. We're stoked about it. Have no clue how it's going to go. Do you?
I have no clue what I'm even doing here.
No, look, everybody's that's followed us from day one. We want to thank y'all 1,000 times over. We wouldn't even be in this, spot to be able to do something like this. But man, we got a lot to talk about, whether you think about it or not. Like, make it a few bullet points each week, and that's about it. And seeing that we're kind of like just getting this thing going and just kicking off, a lot of people are going to see this in the future and ask, well, who are these guys? Who is this fat bastard talking with the hot wife? And we can go ahead and kind of discuss how all that happened, I guess you could say. I mean, I started the music thing in 2009-ish, I think, down in Palatka, Florida with a buddy. We had a group called Double Wide. We started getting some local love and pushing this thing when it was not even a music genre, and then
Well before I was in the picture.
Correct, well before we were doing this thing Double Wide, and the original member of Double Wide took a different route in life than the rest of us, and then my buddy Bottleneck, he joined up. Me and Bottleneck started Double Wide. I ended up going up to Tennessee to cut a song with Big Smo back in like 2010. We cut Hick Life, which ended up becoming pretty much I think the anthem that started the hip hop thing. And then, you know, from there we all went in our own directions. I was on the road opening for Rehab, and I met my soon-to-be wife. She had no clue that she was probably going to have to put me through rehab 4 or 5 times when we got together. But that's where we met. We met on the road. She was a groupie.
I was not a groupie, and I didn't even like you that night. I set you up with a friend who shall remain. Oh, if we're going to tell the story, we're going to tell the story. I mean, like.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, so I set him up with a friend who will remain nameless because she don't like me no more because I stole you back from her after I began liking you. But I didn't like you at first. I thought you were kind of cocky.
I mean, well, I've met a lot of people on the road that would probably
Agree.
But I mean, there's people in this room that agree. I mean, it just is what it is.
Well, they're over there smiling right now.
Well, look, that's the thing, man. A lot of that comes from the way I was brought up and the nature. In my nature, like I grew up in an athletic family. I grew up in a small town where your namesake meant a lot, whether you were good at sports, whether you were good at grades, singing, working, whatever. Your name carried a lot of weight. And I had a friend tell me this a long time ago, and I started writing a song about it. It says, your name is actually your collateral. You know, it's like if your name's not worth anything and you can't put it on it, then you don't really have any collateral. That was Russell Duke that told me that, actually. We'll get more into that nutbag story before long, but
that nutbag was there that night that I met you.
This is true.
Why did I just call Russell a nutbag? Russell's not a nutbag.
He's a fruit bag.
He is not a nutbag. Russell's one of my best friends.
Yeah, Russell. But we'll get into all that. We'll explain all those stories, everything we are, how it all came to be. But it really took its form, like, you know, to make this a shorter story. I was done with music. I was actually doing my last show with Big Smo and the Kinfolk group. It just wasn't for me. Like, I'd been doing it for 1.5 years, 2 years. I didn't know anything about music. Wasn't making any money. Couldn't figure it out. I was just out for the party. You know what I mean? And then I was leaving, and I met Daphne, and I went back to Florida for a couple weeks. Stayed in touch. Met her. We stayed in touch through Tinder.
We did not.
Well, Facebook.
You won't want me to tell the real story.
Well, I ain't here to hide shit. This is
You tried to set me up with Charlie Bonnet.
Who?
Yeah. Let's let the real stuff. Look at Nick's over there behind the camera making some face like, what in the holy hell? What? I hope I can cuss on here because I have like no filter sometimes. Yeah, no, you didn't know that, did you, Nick?
I didn't either. I must have still been drinking.
You're so full of it.
I was still drinking pretty heavily, huh?
You were like,
Hey,
sorta.
but before we forget and all that nonsense aside, happy birthday, baby! This is Daphne's birthday.
That's tomorrow.
Well, it would seem like it was tomorrow if you wouldn't have just gave that away and gave the impression that when this comes out tomorrow on your birthday that we had just shot it.
Well,
So it is a day before, but happy birthday!
thank you.
Don't look a day over. I almost said too young. Like if I'd have been too young, that'd have been Epstein-ish. I meant like you don't look a day over 23, maybe.
Okay. You, can
You
stop lying.
get down too low and mess around being one of them flight logs.
I'm
Done
gonna
done dealing, son.
I'm gonna stick to 36. That's my magic number.
Wow, there ain't nothing. There ain't never been. Name one famous number 36. Not nary one. Jerome Bettis, the bust. What? You don't know anything about football whatsoever. And that's what's so funny
I
is
think I was 36 when I met you.
you were.
That just gave away my age.
Because I remember telling people. No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Your math. Oh yeah, that is right. Because I remember telling some people back home. I was like, yeah, man, I met me this fine little young country chick in Tennessee. She's a bumpkin, but I love like country bumpkin, not in a bad way. I was like, she's I'm robbing the crack. And then I found out you was older than me. I was like, damn, I look rough. I must look terrible, like Charles Barkley says. I mean, it was bad, cause
You don't.
I don't know. I'm sexy and got game for
Oh
a big
my
man.
God.
You know I got game.
Yeah,
Don't lie.
you do. I'm not really gonna say what kind of game, but it's game.
Shit, I go to Walmart. They try to put me on the shelf. Like, like here, man. We need you at Toys R Us. You got so much game. You've been with me before, walking through the mall, and they just start throwing flags at me, like penalties. Like, hey, he's got too much game. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, just let me be.
I'm
You know
gonna
what I
leave
mean?
you in the mall sometime.
Hey, so look, this is how it happens, right? So I start off in this music thing, and it's nobody knew what was gonna happen. Granted, we'll get into all these stories over the next couple years of podcasting, but
No, you quit music, decided that you was going to join the quote-unquote real world, lasted a half day. We're going to tell the truth. Let's just tell the
we're
truth.
trying to build up to how Moccasin Creek was born.
I can tell you how Moccasin Creek was born.
Take
I
it
was
over.
there.
Go ahead, Cookie.
I was so there.
Go ahead,
through
Cookie.
every step of the way.
I hit my bullhead in the face. Yeah, check. I had forgotten about that. So trying to put a storyline together. It was around 2010.
No, it wasn't. It was 2011 when we started actually dating.
Look, she won't ever let me finish the story.
Nope.
So look, it was about 2010 when I had gotten really into the heat of the music thing, and then realized that, this shit's harder than I thought. Plus, I had no musical background whatsoever. So anyway, I knew things was gonna work with Daphne. So I told her, I said, look,
Confident there, wasn't he?
man, I got game. So when I met Daphne, she was running this lab. Yeah, since we're gonna tell all the shit, we're gonna tell all the shit. So here, okay.
Hey, you better watch it. I might get me. Nah, I don't work there.
Nah,
no,
so
it doesn't
here,
matter.
and statutes of limitation. Let me tell you how slick
Hey,
and
careful.
sneaky she is. We had been seeing each other for a little amount of time.
I had help. I won't name her name.
I don't care. We had been seeing each other for a little amount of time, right? And I got a little cold. And she's like, well, just come see me, and they can draw some blood and see if I got something, or give me an antibiotic. So I don't know. So I go see this girl that I'm dating, that I'm head over heels with, so I'm going to listen to anything. She didn't give me nothing to check. She took my blood and ran that shit off, sent it off to the clinic, making sure she did background checks. She was calling every state I lived in, making sure I didn't have any outstanding warrants and what my record was like. Drew blood, all on some like how to get away with murder blacklist type.
Skippy, I sure did.
But that's like 5,000. Now, granted, I'm a hippopotamus, but that was like HIPAA violationist.
No, it wasn't.
Man, you can't just. Yeah,
No,
that was messed up.
I signed your name. It was all right.
All right, so you take my blood, you send it off, everything's good. It comes back, and you're like, oh, he's clean. I'm gonna go ahead and give him more of an opportunity. And so she says, come.
That sounded really bad.
No. So you get the test back, and you're like, hey, this dude's a clean individual.
I don't know about that.
He's got a clean background check.
I must have not checked every state. But
And well, see, all the background check stuff didn't come back until we crossed the border the first time, and that's down the line. That's down the road.
he meant the Canada border, not my border.
Woo! Ma, you can't watch this.
Your mama already knows. Your
Mama
done
Pat,
told
you
me.
can't watch this.
My mama, God love her. My mama knowed a long time ago.
And she just said no. So what? What I'm saying is, all right. So she runs a background check and tests my blood, and finds out that I'm just an absolute specimen of a stallion, like just like a big breeder, like a big breeder horse.
I
You'd
wish I
find.
could see Nick rolling behind the cameras because he's been here since day one. And he knows
Yeah, but look,
the difference.
She gets that blood work back, and she's like, "Oh man, maybe I should go get a reverse operation because I want this dude's
You're so
seed."
full of.
Because I was a stallion, man, like straight up secretariat, you know, like some red ribbon Louisville, Kentucky Derby.
Okay, well, 10 years later, I'm about to set you out in the pasture if you don't shut up.
10 years later, you can shoot me in the leg and put me
I
down.
mean-
So where was this story going? Okay,
I'm
so
not
we start
real
all
sure.
this up. You pull the blood scheme on me. You do everything. You find out about me. Everything's cool. So I said, hey, I'm gonna commit to going back to the quote unquote real world where I had come from working.
Real world. Like, we're not in the real world.
Well, you know what I mean? Like
9 to 5.
not an entertaining job.
9 to 5.
So I tell Daphne I'm gonna get a job. I did. I reported the first day on time.
Came home at lunch, never went back.
Facts. True story. So if you're wondering how Moccasin Creek started, it's because Jeff was not ready to go back and sell some couches. I mean, I had sold everything from cars to phones to solar paneling to hot water heaters to freaking beds. Oh, I got fired from Mattress Giant in Florida in 2003 for sleeping on the job. Like, but here's my thing: get familiar with the product. How the hell else you supposed to get familiar with the product at a bed store unless you're banging somebody or sleeping? You know what I'm saying? Either one of them is gonna get you fired.
Thank God you didn't do number one. All right, back. Don't shut up.
So anyway, yeah. So I took a job. I went in, watched a good training video, and then it started hitting me. I'm like, man, I don't know that I want to be my own boss still. I still want to work. I mean, I still want to do, but I had no idea about music. But my wife
and I had no idea about music.
not at all, but she was super, super supportive. And she said, look, I've been working all this time as a single mom and raising all my family and all,
you supposed to say all my kids?
No, doing all my stuff on my own. And I've saved up money and everything here. Let me blow it on you. That's basically kind of what she told me. And that's what I was supporting, not really saying
I worked
that.
2 jobs.
She did. She did. She worked her ass off. So what happened was,
but we had a little help from somebody else too.
We had a lot of help from a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll get into all that. But see what happened was, so okay, I took the job, quit the job at lunchtime. I did. I called her. I was like, hey, I'm about to go get something for lunch. And she's like, well, where are you going? I was like, I don't know. She said, what time you got to be back? I said, I'm not. Like, I'm not. So I think I need to write some music or do something. And I believe that's kind of like when I, for the first time, I took it serious when I first started, but I had a little information and a little idea of how the music world worked. Actually, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I just kind of knew how the recording process and stuff. Basically, I knew I was a dope son of a bitch on the mic, and I said I need to put this out there to people. Not really, but I had a good way with words, and I was like, let me start doing it. So I decided to do my own thing and started Moccasin Creek, and Daphne had been there from day one. Like, she had pushed and helped us and supported us, went all over the country with us. I mean, people talk about paying your dues. Like, I can remember us driving 5 people deep in a single cab Z71 with a rented U-Haul trailer, crashing all into one hotel. One hotel room.
No, typically it was 2 because you snored too bad.
But I mean, either way, I'm saying, yeah, we had to pay our dues. We've done that. We've been there, and you were right along with it for the entire ride, which was in like 3 levels. It helped so much. For one, you were out meeting the venue owners, you were meeting the people, didn't even realize how much your contacts and all the people you were meeting were building for what you have going now. And two, we didn't have any sort of management or anybody to show. We're just a couple guys out there trying to do it on our own. So we had that leader that could keep us together on the road. And three, obviously, with all my mental health woes, you played counselor, you played wife, you played
Your mental
babysitter,
health.
you played everything.
Between you at the time, you and Chuck and Russell,
Yeah, we had three.
y'all, I had the loony bin on the road.
Look, and
I had a
before
traveling circus.
before we get into all this any further and any of that stuff, you'll notice over the last 6 or 7 years, we never played into. I'm not gonna sit here. We're not gonna bash the dude at all. I mean, his name will pop up in some shit because he was there when I started this thing. So there are parts of the time that you'll hear us refer to a bit or Chuck. I said a bitch, didn't I? Chuck. But he was there. So I mean, some of the stories are going to involve him. Most of them sucked terribly. Hence, is the.
I'm not gonna sit here and say.
Now we had some good times.
Yeah.
Mostly
I
not.
mean, I'll be honest. I mean, there was a lot of times that in the beginning that he was an actually okay person.
Yeah, we had a good thing, man, and I get it. But you also got to remember,
But things
this,
change.
that
Things
and,
grow.
right,
People change,
right,
and
fact,
it is what it is.
fact, and you gotta give the benefit of the doubt too, to an extent where you're talking about a guy that came from one background completely different than what we're trying to do, and that would be like me trying to go play on a lacrosse team just because I'm a good athlete. I don't know anything about it.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
probably
stop you
fit
right
in-
there because
I'm giving an analogy of
the
where
analogy is you came from a totally different background. You came from football to music, so stop selling yourself short.
I ain't selling myself short. I'm 6'4". Listen, I'm saying the only thing I can say about some people are good enough to adapt to any situation, talent wise, but mentality wise, they may not be there for the same thing. And obviously, we found that out. That's what.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. We'll move on. Beat up his bass player, whatever. So,
Years later.
yeah, it is what it is. But all of us grown up, all of us gotten to the point to where it's at. But it all started, for me, Daphne solidified Moccasin Creek being a unit and solidified her place in this whole genre back in 2011 in Abbeville, Georgia at the Redneck Circus. That's all I'm going to say. Were you there for that, Nick? Oh, Nick's in the house. He was there for the. Oh
Nick's
my!
going, why did you just bring
Look.
that up? Do you remember?
A bunch of y'all know Redneck Nation.
Oh yeah, that's my guy. He was there. Redneck Bobby was there.
Love Redneck Nation, everything about him. Y'all know Bobby, who owns Redneck Nation and started it. He helped immensely get all of us off the ground. He supported us since day one. I just talked to him. I love him to death. But he was there too, and this just shows you how far everybody's come. We went to Abbeville, Georgia to play at this event called Redneck Circus.
Became a tornado.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful property in the middle of, I'm talking like,
Nowhere.
yeah, it was out there. There were 11 people.
I don't remember who all played there.
It didn't matter because, well, Jack with the Georgia boys
I think
were
the
there.
Georgia boys were there.
Jack was
I
there.
think Jackie.
I know Jack was there. Bottleneck, Georgia boys, and us. But here's the
That's
thing.
it. Maybe I'm wrong.
There were more artists than there were people at that summit. So I was like, maybe this isn't right. So let's take it through the day. So we get to this.
Let's
field.
don't take it through the
Oh,
day.
no, yeah.
Let's just take it to fast forward.
No, we got to hear the whole story because we get to this venue and we're like, wow, man, this is crazy. This is what it's going to be like.
I'm leaking here. I got. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't want it to really be like that because it was just a fiasco. Then come to find out, we were learning on the fly too, so we were going to run into these quote unquote fiascos a lot. But
No, we didn't. Not
during
bad.
but during that event,
Not after that night.
we got there. We're in 1,000-degree weather. You know, it is what it is. It's summer in Georgia. We do our sound check.
It's
We're
hot.
getting ready to play. Then all of a sudden, woo, woo, woo! You hear the tornado sirens and everything. Now, granted, there probably were about 150, 200 people there, tops. It wasn't big, but we get a message that comes across. We're like, there's a tornado, there's a tornado, there's a tornado. And we're thinking, okay, there's a tornado's been spotted somewhere in town, or there's
right across the field.
Yeah, there's a cell forming, something like that. And unfortunately, this isn't our only tornado experience. But so, not only does a tornado touch ground on the property, there's kids out there riding their four-wheelers. You remember this?
Yep.
And they're missing. So everybody's freaking out. They're going out to look for these kids. We're all under this pole barn. There's a pole barn.
Like that was going to protect us.
Yeah, like the 40 by 40 pole barn. It's just an old, country redneck barn. It's got a tractor here and a bunch of stuff laying around. And all these people are tripping out. They're freaking out. They're scared. And then I hear, hey, is this okay? And I turn around and Jacob's 4 years old. He's sitting there pissing in a toilet, just a random toilet seat that was sitting underneath the whole pole barn. I'm like, yep, he's with us. That's our kid. Like this shit was just bananas, right? So the storm comes through. It goes away. The sound guy had to lose every bit of his equipment. I just remember it getting poured on.
It wasn't that bad that
So-
time. You're thinking Colorado.
Either way, we do our
went
show.
flying.
This is one of the very first Moccasin Creek shows in front of a decent crowd, or any crowd, or anything. Like,
No, it wasn't. Y'all done a few shows
yeah,
by
but
then.
we were just getting to the
This
point
was
where
like the...
it was
yeah.
kind of starting, right? And so here comes the first one of many. You hear these stories from artists all over the place, but so we get done. It's 157.5, 312 degrees. And we're sitting in the truck, and I said, "There's that dude that runs it. Let me go get the money." I ain't got any money. Uh-oh.
No, he says, I don't have all the money. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
then that's going to become a problem.
Right,
isn't
and
it?
this is when I knew Daphne was no nonsense, like Aaron Rockovich type. I was like, all right, we got three ways we can handle this. One, I'm going to go beat this little dude's ass, which that's really kind of what I knew, and I didn't understand my temper. It was like, we're not going to get asked to come back, obviously, but they're not going to have another event after this turnout.
I
So,
think they did.
so I'm
but
thinking, well, and then second option was send you in, I think.
I'm not sure what the three options were, but it ended up I went in.
Oh, yeah, and this is where I knew it was bang, bang. Daphne walks away from the truck. I look at Chuck and Russell. I'm like, man, I hope y'all can all pull together so we got enough gas money to get home, because this little sawed-off ass dude that put this festival on, he ain't paying. Daphne walked back with an envelope. It's like the Italians say, bring me the envelope. And she brought an envelope, and
I think it was mostly like ones and
it
fives.
was, but that too. We
I
were
was like, I don't care. It
we were
spends.
we were playing for like $300. It's
That
like
was burnt.
it wasn't much.
You
but-
really want me to tell them?
No.
It was way more than that. I was proud of y'all.
Well,
I was proud of me. Don't be getting us into the... We did well.
Yeah, well, that's
For
what I'm
that.
saying. Either way, that was
We had a lot of support.
it was
that
crazy,
day.
and we met a lot of people that, honest to God, from that day still follow us, and from that day, the ones that stuck with. I mean, Derek and them are still doing their thing. The Georgia boys, Bottleneck's still doing his thing. If I'm not mistaken, Young Gunner might have been there too.
I think he was.
But it's cool to see an event that took place so long ago and under a fiasco type setting to where it is now. I mean, you've got certain artists now in this genre.
It's so funny that
They're
we're
selling
talking
out
about that.
1,500 seaters. You
Yeah,
know.
but it's so funny. Literally, I just got a text message. Somebody that we've been friends with and worked with from in the inception. It's Lenny Cooper, and he just had a new baby.
Lenny, let me
Yeah.
tell you what causes that.
I think he knows what causes it. But
Yeah.
I just got a text message of the video with their baby.
Yeah, and how about that? See, people don't.
There's a lot of friendships that have formed.
Yeah, man,
under
we were
this.
one. Or actually, you were the first person that got to see his little.
I was. I got
his little
FaceTime.
nugget.
I'll go ahead and that might make some people mad, but I got to FaceTime him at like 1 in the morning after she had the baby.
It's one thing I've never understood is when people FaceTime kids. I
I
mean,
was FaceTiming them.
you get to look at the kid, but how it's like looking at Mount Rushmore. I mean, after like 12 seconds, you realize it's just there. There's nothing that's gonna come from it. We were talking about that Mount Rushmore the other day, man. It's cool, but you stand there and you're like, oh, man, that's pretty neat. They blew up some dynamite and made it into four faces. There's an ice cream stand. Go get some ice cream. Boom, you're out. That's it. $23 for you to what? Look at a rock.
But think about this.
I mean, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong.
But think about it. We would have never gotten to see, probably not, because I probably would have never been to Mount Rushmore if we had not had been playing in Canada. If it wasn't for Moccasin Creek, I wouldn't have probably ever seen Mount Rushmore because it's probably
See,
nothing.
look.
So stop. So that will bring us probably into the next podcast where we will talk about.
Plenty. And that's what I'm glad she just touched on.
Shut up. I know you're going with this.
Where, please, pre-tell. Where am I going with this? Because you do know me so well. I want to hear where you're going with this.
The Mount Rushmore
No,
story.
I ain't telling the Mount Rushmore story. That's for one of the Daphneisms. Like, we'll get into...
Oh.
Look, the podcast, we're going to segment it out. We're going to do some special things each week. This is our first one. We're just trying to give you a background of who we are, how we came about, the fact that, you know, it's just that it's a rags to riches type story. She met me on the road as a groupie, and now that
I
we're...
was not a groupie.
And
We do not tell that. That is not how we met.
We didn't.
Keep dreaming.
You know what is really cool, though, is like you were talking about the relationships we've built in this genre. It's like... I was a big Rehab fan.
I just actually got through
Prior-
putting on a show with
Right.
Rehab last weekend.
And that's what's really cool. I was a big Rehab fan. I remember watching them play in a garage in Charleston back in 2001, I think, for a house party. I don't even know that Graffiti the Word. I don't even know that they had an album out yet. But anyway, I'd always been a fan. And then we got to do some shows with them. Smo, when I was with Smo, and Chuck, and a couple. We went out to Colorado, did some shows. Danny can attest it. I knocked a sound guy out, and he was an asshole. But so anyway,
Sound guy, not Danny.
it was really So it was really cool because I was a Rehab fan. Then I got to start touring and going out with Rehab, and then I met Daphne at a Rehab concert, and then I went to Rehab, and then she started booking Rehab, and then she just went up to Rehab. It ain't just what we're listening to. It's a way of life. So shout out to Danny and, you know, Big Chris and the whole Doyle, the whole crew.
Jericho.
Yeah.
They were great last weekend.
And their live show's still pumping it out. I guess got to give a shout out to Demon because he was still with Rehab at the time. And but we made a lot of these relationships.
That's how I met Demon.
Speaking of relationships, we're always forming new ones, and it's weird. Like, a lot of people are always ask, hey, why don't you do some music with this guy? Or why don't you do something with that dude? And it's like, just because we're in the same genre, people automatically assume that we're all buddies, you know? And don't take this wrong. It's not like we're not. It's just there's a lot of people. Like, I get comments all the time, why don't you ever do a song with Upchurch? And I'm like, I've never met him. I don't know him. Like, I don't know him. Until last week, now we've been talking, and I just go ahead and tell you he's going to be on the podcast here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do some music. But shameless plug. But that's another thing. You know, I'm going down to Florida in 2 weeks or 3 weeks for another. I got this EP finishing with Hard Target.
I asked him where he's going to be on our anniversary.
Home. I will be back. Listen, man.
Hey, I just got that on film. Y'all hear that?
And you're also
You
the
see
one
that?
that said go down there and do it and get it done with. So I got a Hard Target EP
He still
coming
ain't
out.
learned
Got
after
a
10 years.
Fort Knox EP coming out.
10
And do an EP
years.
with West Nile. Gonna do an EP with Dusty. Doing an EP. I mean, I'm doing. I probably should do some Moccasin Creek shit.
She probably should do an EP with me.
Yeah. Look, I've been trying to get her. I ain't even gonna comment on that bullshit. How long we been running? See, look, I will almost time that out perfect. Because we're going to try to do one around 30, 40 minutes. I don't want to bore people too much. And that's another thing. Word of mouth is the only way we're going to get this thing out there. So if y'all could, share the shit out of this. Our YouTube, all these episodes are going to be uploaded to our YouTube page, Moccasin Creek. It's going to be under the Out the Chute tab. Spread it around wherever you want. You can listen to it anywhere. Got a whole bunch of new stuff coming. We're not going to keep this one too long because we're just getting them going off the air. Each week we'll have different segments. We're going to tell. One thing I'd like to do is each week pick a song that's a lot of people have mentioned have either influenced them or touched them or something, and we're going to go over the story to the song, like why it was written, how it was written, what the lyrics actually mean.
The song we need to tell how it truly went down, because nobody truly believes that Port Tonky was truly just not even hardly scripted.
Yeah, it was that was on a bus in Mississippi.
What, on a bus? Well, we were on a bus. We took a bus out there.
Man,
Took a bus out there. That
yeah.
was not Mississippi?
Yes, because Big
you
Chuck
talking
and
about
ER were there.
Are you talking about The actual video shoot.
Oh no, yeah, the
I was
video.
fixing to
Oh, you
say,
talking
where
about how the
you
song?
been?
No, yeah, I'm talking about like how the song came. Oh yeah, the video shoot was crazy for
Video
poor
shoot
Chunky.
was in Arkansas.
We played shooters the night before. I'll never forget that.
That's where I learned that Windex cures ant bites.
Yeah. Oh yeah, anything with ammonia, it'll also get you drunk as shit
if you
you
knew
burp.
that. If you knew that, when I got stung by like 40 of them in Florida and you didn't say that.
I did. We didn't have no Windex on me, and you wouldn't let me piss on you. I don't know. R. Kelly's the only one that can pee on me, and I was like, what?
That's not what I said, and at that point I probably would have let you pee on me.
See, told y'all she's a freak.
I am not a freak.
Nah, so nah, yeah, the poor Chunky. I'll go ahead and tell you the video. That shit was epic. We played at Shooters in Texarkana the night before. And,
See, I don't remember that part.
Oh
I
yeah,
just remember the day of.
we were right there, and I remember I called. Well, JJ and Tracy and them were at the show, so I asked them, and I was like, "Hey man, we got," and I don't believe Poor Chunky was even mixed and mastered by the time we shot the video. We shot the video to a rough mix, I'm pretty sure, because ER had to go back in and do some
Fix
things.
it.
But no, we really. I told them, I was like, "Hey man, come to the truck, listen to the song, let them hear it." It's like, we want to shoot the video at the hunting camp. He's like, when? I was like, well, shit, we're out here. Let's do it tomorrow. And they're like, all right. Dude, we got to that hunting camp at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. They was still, someone was still up for the night before
Probably.
and was going hard. And we were about to, we didn't even have to set up to shoot this video. It was like,
It was just there.
it's like you walk in
Yeah.
and whoa, the set was already open. They were ready to go. Yeah, so that was but I was talking about like some of the songs like Judge My Past or This Old Man, things like that people were like, man, that was really cool. How did that come about? And kind of tell the story, go over the lyrics, whatever. So if y'all want to submit some stuff like that, that's fine. If y'all have any questions that you want us to go over during the podcast, you can inbox them to our Facebook page. We'll try to address as many as possible.
Which is Moccasin Creek on Facebook.
Yeah, Moccasin Creek on Facebook. And I want to give a big shout out to Heathen's Metal Work Fabrication. That's a badass sign that he sent in for us to post up here. Big shout out to Alan Roberts at Every Damn Day Fitness. As soon as I get this mangled up leg back going, I'll be able to start getting back in shape again. That was an interesting last 3 weeks, and we'll get into that at another day and time. And really, I mean, I guess we can kind of wrap this one up because we got to go out and celebrate for your birthday. But is there anything you want to leave them with on the very first week of this? Like, I mean, you can touch on the fact that you got like 17 cruises next year. You and I are taking a nice vacation next year.
No, well, let's see. What I want to leave them with is come back. Like, watch this and keep coming back.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
can continue to tell you about all the cool stuff that actually is going on. We touched on the past and kind of
Oh, we'll make it to the present.
where we came from, but we haven't really told you where we're going. So I
Because
think
we
if you
don't
keep-
fucking know.
I know where I'm going.
Crazy.
You're just gonna be sitting.
I know where I'm going. I'm going to Ed's Wings in Fayetteville tonight.
See,
Yum, 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 yum.
It's my birthday.
And you love wings.
No, you love wings,
Honey, come on, man. You want to argue on air on the first episode?
Why not?
Do you not like wings?
I didn't say I didn't like wings.
Oh, guess where?
I like margaritas better.
Well, we can get them too. Guess where Greg Gunn's eating as we speak?
Probably Ed's.
Nope.
Where?
I'm gonna give you a hint. It rhymes with Montgomery Den Coat House.
He's at Montgomery Inn.
Yeah, he said he was in Cincinnati. He's like, where do I go to eat? And I was like, are you in the big truck? He was like, yeah. And I was like, boy, you better Grubhub or whip that big ass thing into the
Montgomery Inn.
Montgomery Inn at the Fort Mitchell location. You can probably pull a truck in there.
It's
But
pretty big.
hey, look, man, gotta give a shout out to Steve and Nick for helping run this thing because I am clueless. I know these mics are cheap as shit, but they look cool because they're gold.
I was gonna say, I just walked up in here like they've been putting this together for a while, and literally just like I asked him, I said, so what are we gonna talk about? He goes, just show up.
We're
I
gonna
was
talk
like,
about
just show
we're
up.
gonna stay away from politics. We ain't talking to politics. We're just gonna. I mean, unless you want to talk about that. No, I can't even. No politics. I'll get going.
At least
to.
not until after the election.
Yeah, you can't say nothing, man. They'll censor you and bring you down. And that's
I
the thing
know.
too. Is we do like you said.
Most people know our views anyway.
Well, word of mouth, man, is where it's at. So we appreciate y'all supporting us, and if y'all keep pushing this podcast, I don't care what the views are like and whatnot. This is therapy for me to get a lot of this stuff off my chest, tell a lot of these stories, and I'm gonna do it every week. So hopefully I'll catch on. Hopefully you'll keep joining me each week. I guess it depends on the morning.
Am I
and the
joining
day.
you every week?
Well,
Look here.
yeah, but look, we're gonna have a lot of call-in guests and a lot of call-in guests. They might have my sister next week.
Are you?
Well, she said any time, but her schedule's pretty hectic, so I don't know. I'll probably have to, and then maybe I can get her husband on for a minute too. But we got a lot of cool people coming on for sure. I can't say them. I don't want to say them all right now anyway because I don't know what dates.
Keep tuning back in. You never know what you're gonna hear.
And y'all can.
Did you really just burp on a podcast?
My podcast.
I don't care.
Out to shoot. Out to shoot, baby. Hey, so anyway, we appreciate y'all. I'm Jeff McCool, Brahma Bull, whatever you want to call me. It's my beautiful wife, Daphne. I'm not supposed to say that, am I?
What?
Your wife. You don't
I
like
didn't
when
say that. I have a name.
I followed it with Daphne.
Thank you.
Out to Shoot Podcast 1. Peace out.